Why are we hugging, Nona? Did you say yes for being my girlfriend? I retrieved back from the hug as fast as the speed of light and looked at him in shock, as if that was the first time it had happened. He stared at me with his shiny doe eyes full of hope, while biting his lower lip in anticipation. I looked here and there, trying to hide a blush. You were. Okay, leave that. Let's hug. Leaned towards her with his arm wide open, ready to engulf her existence. Hey, wait! Softly pushed him back by placing her hand on his chest. Don't you remember why you are in my room? And why were we hugging? Trying to get him to think and remember something. Nope, shook his head, showing unbothered behavior. Don't you wanna know? Or aren't you scared that you don't remember anything? I don't care. As long as I was hugging you and get to hug you again. I don't care. I looked at him with my mouth slightly open. Like, what the? How can someone be this much carefree? This one is difficult. He blinked rapidly and leaned forward to cuddle me like an overly enthusiastic puppy. Slightly pushed him again by his chest. No hugs until you remember. Huh? He frowned but then let his body fall back on the mattress and started whining like a toddler. How can I remember it when I don't remember it? Blew on her nails Cecily and spoke. I don't know. Try to use your brain. It won't hurt, I swear. He huffed out the air of frustration before smirking slightly and sitting up. I remember. I came into your room and confessed to you. You confessed back and then we hugged. Lied as he could not remember. No, you said you always wanted to have a sister and I said, why not? I will be your sister from now on. And you got emotional and hugged me. Impossible. I will not accept you as my sister. Never. Flabbergasted. Okay then, try to remember like a good boy. I must have had another nightmare. Desperately trying to make her understand. Another nightmare? You get nightmares? He asked sometimes. Or all the time. Pout sadly. What kind of nightmares? We should not talk about nightmares. They come true. Whispers the last part as if it's a very confidential statement. Oh come on man, that's absurd. If I tell you then will you let me hug you? You are not going to let it slide, are you? Gave him a fed up look. Never. Adamant and proud of his decision. Let out a deep sigh. Okay, fine. I'll hug you if you tell me about your nightmares. It was important to know as these nightmares could be related to his trauma or changing personalities. Well, looks down and started playing with his fingers. Sometime in my nightmares, I see of myself as a mafia, a scary mafia, who ends people. And one time I saw that I was hurting you. Sometime I just dream of working endlessly, and recently I saw that I was running across the bridge, desperately trying to find someone. Maybe today I had a nightmare as well and rushed into your room to hug you and feel protected. Finally looked at her only to find her already staring at him. Juan's POV. He narrated everything to me while looking scared and disturbed due to his nightmares, but little did he know that those were not his nightmares. He has been doing all of these things in real life. He is living among multiple personalities, and that is a nightmare on its own. Just then, he dragged me out of my thoughts by saying, Hug, seriously demanded his reward. Oh, look there, pointed behind him. Immediately looked behind. Where? When he looked at Vian again, she was not there anymore. He saw her running out of the room like a thief and ran behind her while screaming, Nuna, that's not fair! Taehyung kept chasing her in the living room while mates continued to enjoy the drama. They were running around the sofa, laughing, showing tongue to each other, and making weird and teasing faces at one another. When Taehyung suddenly crouched down and held his foot. I know you're acting. You can't get me with these tricks. It really hurts, Nuna groaned painfully. Vine peeked at his foot and saw injuries, which he previously got from running barefoot on that bridge. She immediately ran towards the kitchen to get the first aid box and sat on the floor in front of him. She gently grabbed his foot and examined his wounds. I told you, nightmares come true when you talk about them, innocently murmured. Huh? Looked at his face while frowning. I saw that I was running on the bridge while trying to find someone, and my feet were bleeding. I told you about the nightmare, and that's why my feet started bleeding for real. His eyes became moist, and in no time he started crying. Vine thinking, oh my goodness, how can someone be this much innocent and cute? Oh my, is he crying? He is crying. What should I do? I started applying medicine on his feet and bandaged it while saying comforting words to him. Thai, aren't you my favorite big boy? It's okay, and it has nothing to do with your nightmares. It's just a coincidence. We were running carelessly, that's why you got hurt. It will heal in no time. He hugged me and giggled. He giggled, as if he was not crying a moment ago. What is this man-child up to? I got you! Laughed like a naughty punk while still hugging her. What? Sat in his embrace, dumbfounded. You said I can't get you with my tricks. Look, I got you. Excited as if he had won an Oscar. Broke the hug and looked at him with narrow eyes. You deceived me. You were not hurt or scared. Coughed nervously. I, avoiding her sharp gaze. I'm hurt, but scared? Not my thing. He stood up with the speed of light and bolted towards the main door of the living room and ran out. Vine shouted as she came out of her shop. Hey, your feet will bleed again. Don't run. Ran behind him. Catch me if you can, Nuna. Thai, stop. Running behind him. I'm unstoppable. Kept running while spreading his arm like an aeroplane wings without caring about his bandaged feet. Soon it began to rain again and now Vine had another problem to deal with. We'll get sick, Thai, stop running! Running out of breath. She crouched down to catch her breath, but as soon as she stood up straight, she gasped and took a step back. However, a sneaky stone behind her track was about to make her get familiar with the taste of ground. At the right time, a muscled veiny arm stuck around her waist and she felt her wet body coming in contact with the familiar body of a familiar person. What are you doing, Indran? Now you want to die by getting sick? Intimidating stare with a dominant deep voice weakened her knees. Rain intensifies, so does her heartbeat. She tried to break free from his embrace, but he did not allow her to get away from him. He pulled her closer with a jerk and her breath hissed as their wet bodies completely got pressed together. It's not like she had never been in this scenario with him before, but this time things were different. Situation was different, his aura was different, he was different, and most important, the feeling was different. His hot breath struck her nose gently, giving her tingling sensation all over her body. She blinked her eyes slowly, causing her wet eyelash to clash, trapping his heart within. He unconsciously leaned closer, but paused when she spoke. You won't stop taking bad decisions, will you? You won't stop getting into trouble, will you? You won't stop being the only trouble in my life, will you? Stopped and stared at her as if he wanted to say something but was not able to. I looked to the side, pushed him back and got herself out of his arms, which he did not like a bit. I'll get going. What were you doing here in the first place? Asked herself. Saying this, she turned around and walked inside. She was about to climb the stairs to get to her room but stopped when he said, "Dinner, not hungry." Spoke without looking back. Okay then, I'm not hungry either. Cutely spoke. Her head automatically snapped in his direction with the speed of a bullet, and she looked at him, horrified as if she had encountered a ghost. His eyes widened as well, as he stood there awkwardly in awkward silence, making things more awkward than before. The tone he spoke was hardly Mafia-like. It looks like the medication and treatment were working, as he was mixing personalities, and not at all sticking to one. But will it stop wanting to tease him and make it less awkward for him? Let's find out. Did you just break your character? Aww, mocking tone. She turned towards him and marched towards him, making him step back. What are you talking about? Let me hear that lovely tone again. Come on, little one. Continued to walk towards him. Blankly stared at her face for a second. Shut up. Saying this, he started walking towards his room, and she followed behind, still trying to pull his leg. I knew you had tenderness of feathers behind this cold facade. As they say, don't judge a book by its cover. She dramatically spoke but collided with his china vault bill like broad back when he suddenly stopped walking. He faced her and spoke in a serious tone as if he was warning her. You can judge me by my cover. I'm a very transparent person. I don't have dual personalities. What you see on the exterior is what you will find inside me. You know why? Because I don't give a about what you think of me. Went quiet for a moment but burst out laughing the very next moment. You don't have dual personalities? Are you sure about that? Laughed as if it was her last time. He kept staring at her with straight face until she stopped laughing and tried to get serious, but his next move shook her entire being. He pulled her by her waist, cubed her one cheek with his large hand, and her eyes widened, but the shock in her made her stand still. His hand, which was on her cheek, made his way to her hair, and he started playing with them, or more like messing with them, just like he was messing her feelings. He calmly did the deed, stepped back, fixed her hair, and said, "Now laugh as much as you want. Good night." Saying this, he went inside his room, leaving behind the poor woman who was too stunned to speak in the corridor.